Welcome to Shira's Interiors, עיצוב פנים לנשמה, interior design to the soul. I'm Shira, and we are here together to understand deeply through the wisdom of Kabbalah how we stop reacting to life and we start creating it. Let's go! ברוכים הבאים לעיצוב פנים לנשמה, המקום שבו אנחנו מפסיקים רק להגיב לחיים ומתחילים ליצור אותם. אני שירה, ואנחנו כאן להבין לעומק איך התודעה שלנו יוצרת את המציאות שלנו על פי הקבלה. So this is my first time ever recording in English, any type of professional recording. You're gonna see tons of mistakes, and it took me a minute and a lot of guts. Let's go. I want to start with a personal story. When I was in high school, we had a part of the high school that there was a program of nursing, and I really loved it, and I went for it. In order to become a registered nurse, after high school, I had to pass an exam. It's called psychometric. They basically check your ability, not only in math, English, Hebrew, they check your ability of problem solving quickly. They just want to see how fluent your mind is. It's an extreme difficult exam. So Hebrew, math was pretty much easy. Not easy. No, it was not easy, because you also have like less than 20, you have less than 60 seconds for each question. It's a long exam. Go on ChatGPT, figure out what it is. It was extremely difficult. So Hebrew and English was not really such a big obstacle, but English was, for me, the worst, because I didn't have no English. You first have to take some courses, so I had to cut short my hours of work. My salary went down because I obviously didn't work much. The course cost so much money. I took the course once, I failed the test. I took again one more time, 2.5 months of studying. Again, it's not considered a fail, because there is no such a thing like failing, but you have to reach some certain amount of points, which I couldn't get there. Anyways, it was so devastating for me, and I decided I'm gonna take the exam one more time. It was my third time. Again, tons of money, a lot of effort, and I did not get the score I wanted. I can't explain with words how devastated I was. I remember I was standing in the entrance of my house with a mail, reading this from a green paper, those like computerized numbers, and I was like, I couldn't just believe it. It was so devastating. So when we look at life, do you say, is this good or not good? So obviously for me, it was definitely bad. Good or bad? Bad. So devastated. Today, when I look at this situation, I'm thinking to myself, only if I would have passed that test, I would never say yes to my sister when she called me to come to the States and help her, because, well, I have a solid job, I have a solid schooling. So today I understand how everything worked for my best interest. I made it to the State, I met my husband, we built a family, and if not for that exam, failing that exam, I would have never been where I am right now. So we can look at life, when we have any situation. Is it good or is it bad? So there is, in my perspective today, there is no such a thing good or bad. Everything is working for our best intention. Now I want to touch the difference between having a belief, a faith, then trust. A person can have the best belief. So basically, we believe that there is the Creator, and He takes care of us, and He loves us. But the trust, the certainty, it's something beyond. Because I can say, oh, I can be a great believer, but when it comes to the action, how life goes, this is when I start to involve my control. No, I believe that God loves me so much, and He's for sure gonna do this and this and that for me. That doesn't go this way. We have to release control when we believe in God. The same, it's as if my kid is coming to me right now and he asks me, Mommy, when is lunch? In how long are you also going to prepare a salad? We're going to have also something to drink. This is not a trust. My son believes me that I'm going to make for him the food, but he doesn't really trust me. That's why I keep on asking questions. So the same goes with God, with the Creator. When we believe, we just know God is here, we believe it's beautiful, it's nice. The certainty, the real trust comes when we don't see the way. When we just put, if we put our direction in the GPS, do we go and we scroll exactly where the GPS is going to take us, or we just start driving? No, we put it in the GPS and then we start driving. In Hebrew, the word daga, which means worry, is Aleph through Hey. Aleph, Gimel, Daled, Hey, and it's missing the letter B. The letter B stands for bitachon, for certainty and trust. A person that worries does not have certainty and trust. A lot of time, what we do, we have our certainty depends on the outcome. So let's take an example of a kid. A kid goes to school. That kid feels like his self-worth is completely depends on the outcome. But it doesn't go like this, because what's really important is how much effort we put, how much effort that kid put. When my son comes back from school with a test that he didn't get his best marks, I don't care unless it didn't work. If he didn't do any studying, this is where I'm not gonna be so happy with it, because I want him to make his move. But I don't care about the score. The score doesn't mean it doesn't make any difference for me. The biggest difference is how much he sits and study, because I cannot force him to get the highest score. It doesn't go this way. I have a story from the Baal Shem Tov. Once he came to a faraway Ayara, little village, and he saw this house and he knocked on the door. There was two people, a husband and a wife, used to live in a very poor house, just basic. And those people saw they have a guest. They didn't even know who their guest is. And they decided they have to do everything in order, to make a nice meal for Shabbat. And they took everything what they have, everything, and they prepare from whatever money they had, beautiful meal. And then the Baal Shem Tov told them that he's staying also for the week. They really were choked. So the husband decided he's gonna take the milking cow and he's gonna sell it, which was his biggest source of income. They took the cow, they sold the cow, they host the people for the Baal Shem Tov and his people for the rest of the week. After that week, they stayed penniless, like no money, they didn't even have no income. He was so devastated and he decided he's gonna go to the forest. He went to the forest and he started crying. God, this is the first time I come and I ask you for anything. I never ask for parnasa. I never ask you for money. But this time, I'm not asking for something crazy. I just want to get the bare minimum. And start crying and crying. A little person, a drunk person, was laying in between the trees, and he walked over to him and he told him, everybody looks at me in town like I'm one of the crazy, drunk, junkie. But let me tell you, I'm not. I'm going to show you over here my hidden place. He took him behind the tree. There was a bag full of coins. He told him, every day I take one coin, I drink, I enjoy, I lay down over here in the forest, I love it. And this is my life. This is what I want for my life. The guy looked at him, okay, nice information. Next day, the guy decided, I'm going to the market. I'm going to start figuring out what I have to do. Maybe I have to take a job, schlepping things, who knows what. He walks into town and he hears that junkie just died. and there is no money. He has no people, no kids, no wife, no relatives, nobody. And now they have to take care of all the Chevrat Kadisha, whatever, the whole situation of burying him and funeral. The guy ran to the forest. He got the bag with all the coins. He was able to sponsor everything for the funeral and for everything. And then he stayed with a lot of money that he was able to invest, money that he was able to live from. And from that point on, he was just making great living. And one of the things that he really liked to do, he liked to travel from place to place whenever he heard about an important person, like a chashuv person that's whatever, important. So he heard one day there is a guy, rabbi, called Baal Shem Tov. He decided, great, let's go to him. He went to the Baal Shem Tov, and he looked at the face, and he's like, oh my God, I know this face. That face was in my house. So he was so confused. He walked over to the Baal Shem Tov, and he asked him, you were the one who came to my house. Because of you, I lost my money, my only source of minimal income. And the Baal Shem Tov was telling him, I saw that you had so much money waiting for you, but since you never asked, you never got it. You had to lose that milking cow in order to make a great living. For us, we have every Rosh Hashanah, everything is written from beginning of days, but every Rosh Hashanah, there is a review on how much we can earn in the beginning of the year. And a lot of time I used to think about it, and I was like, oh my God, last year looked just the same like this year and the previous years. What am I davening for? What am I praying for? And then I realized that a lot of time, because we don't do our work in this world, we don't really get to enjoy all of those amount of great, amazing things that are waiting for us. So we have written so many great things for us, but we just don't maximize it because we don't do our work. So what our job to do? The same like the kid that goes to school we spoke about before. We do our effort. We don't have to go crazy and to above and beyond. We have to do what's in our capability to do, not based on the outcome. Meaning to say, if now I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to go to this and this place, but I'm not really going to get one. We don't make those kind of calculations. We have to do our best effort in order to check market. A lot of people want certainty before we do the move, but we have to first do the move. Just like the Israelis in the desert, next to the Red Sea, we had to do our small move. We had to go into the water. Now, physically, it's not so hard. Mentally, it's so challenging to walk into the ocean. Think about it. Physically, it's just like you make few steps. It's nothing. Mentally, you feel like the water are here. You're going to die. That's what we have to do. We have to do a small little action, a lot of mental work, and this is how we're going to be able to get there. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, nah, my life is the same what it is. I'm not a lucky person. Life cannot happen to me this way. A lot of, I call it like extracting beliefs. There is expanding beliefs or expanding thoughts, and then there is extracting thought. By the way, I'm like so Israeli with my hands. Anyways, so whenever we are focused on having expanding beliefs, this is our place to grow. Not extracting, we can create our life. So every one of us has chelek eloka mimal, which is a part of God. Think about it. God is so big, and we have a part of the Creator in us. That means that each one of us has the ability to create. We can actually create our own life. We create. Our life is the mirror of our thought. Today, when I look at a person, I can absolutely tell you what the vibe of that person's thoughts are. If I look at that person and, their life are just, rolling around reactively, basically they don't do anything proactive, like just life goes on auto, I know their thoughts are not worked out. But when somebody has their thoughts worked out, and I look at the person, that life goes a little bit smoother, a lot smoother, then I know something in their thought process is a lot better and a lot worked out. Another thing that my approach, my way of going about faith and trust. So when we think about a baby cries in order to get food. That baby absolutely believes that is gonna get food. And I like how people give that example of baby cry, but he has full trust, full certainty. I like to go a little bit beyond. I want to feel like an embryo. Like, doesn't matter what happens right now, I'm like an embryo. I know I'm hooked on all the goodness that I need to get. Whatever I need to get, God will give me. So that doesn't matter if tomorrow I lose everything what I have. Just take everything. If I have full certainty, it's not depend on what I have. Only when we are uncertain, we have uncertain moments, like fragile moments in life, this is where we can really practice our greatest certainty in God, when things are stripped away from us. One story that I want to finish with, my son really wanted to have a phone. My husband and myself, we had a discussion. He had to earn it, obviously, so we made like a mission for him in order to receive the phone. Came the big day, my husband took him to the store. He got him the newest, most beautiful, amazing iPhone. The boy was so thrilled, excited, happy, and we got him the phone. We even got him the case that he wanted. And amazing, the guy got the phone. And he really felt so good. And we came to Pesach, it was Pesach, and he lost his phone. We couldn't find it. We called it, we did so much in order to find it. Sgulot, whatever it takes. The phone was not found. And a lot of time I had a little bother. We lost so much money, it's like 700-800, I don't even know how much it is. Today, I look at it completely different. When I see my kids jumping around, when I see that kid playing outside basketball, playing with the brother, laughing, playing cards, reading books, I think how great was that cell phone lost. How great was it? I know how many times I see kids in places and they are just all the time. They're just like in the phone. The family are going like they are numb. And they are just getting maneuvered whenever they have to go. They're eating without consciousness. And I'm thinking to myself, this was the best thing that happened to this boy and to us, that he lost his phone. So now, I want to challenge you with a question. What would be the action you would take today if you had full certainty in the Creator that everything that happens today is for your greatest good? Everything that comes to our life by the end of the day is for our greatest good. A lot of time, it's harder to see it because we don't see the full picture when we are in the picture. But when we zoom out, this is when we can see everything. When we just go a little bit farther into the future, this is when we can a little bit understand how life works, but not from inside the picture. This is the challenge right there. So I want to finish, say thank you for listening to me, for hearing all the English mistakes I have, and still keeping it up. And thank you for being here. See you next time.